Well, good morning. I am so excited to be here with you. My name is Summer Holtzhower, and I am a teacher engagement coordinator for Polk County Public Schools. My job focuses on retaining teachers. So I'm going to talk to you today about how I use technology to make that an easier task.
And my name is Brittanie Ramsey, and I also work with Polk County Public Schools, and we met in the same department. I was a teacher recruiter, and she did teacher engagement. So I'm going to still talk about teacher recruiting, but I did recently start a new job as a community liaison director. So I go out and I work with 24 schools in the district, and I try and bring in community business partners and try and look for time, treasure their talent, see how they can partner up with our schools. But today we're going to be talking about teacher recruitment and how we use technology, especially after the pandemic and during the pandemic, how different resources we used in Polk.
Yes. And I would like to start off by saying, I feel like Brittanie and I both, we love learning. That's like our number one passion. And being in the room with all of y'all, I am learning so much. You should see my list of things to Google when I leave here. So I'm really appreciative of your time.
For sure. So I'm going to get started with my teacher recruiting hat and how we use technology to help us recruit and find some of the best candidates. So one thing that we used was an online job platform. So we would use things like LinkedIn, but trying to use it more effectively, making sure that you didn't just create a profile, that you're interacting and engaging with those candidates as well. And just trying to get into that algorithm. Like we want them to constantly share and learn more about Polk County Public Schools. Beyond that, we use digital marketing, and we try to go onto Canva and just make creative things that are eye-catching. So no matter what, even if we had a lot of words or just a few words on that page, that people wanted to click on it. And we did it strategically, hopefully. We tried to go onto Facebook, and you can kind of set your boundaries. So are we trying to target people in local counties? Are we trying to target people? We also, we worked with international teachers as well. Especially during the pandemic, we couldn't go and necessarily interview them, but our teachers that come from Jamaica, we were able to go online and we were able to interview and say, hey, we'd like to offer you a job. And we were able to do it that way. So we tried to do a lot of good digital marketing to let them know, like, hey, we're here, Polk County, we're growing, but not as many people knew us, but we're getting on the map. And then also from that, we did data collection. We were able to target and see like what people wanted. So whether you're a computer teacher or your elementary school teacher, we were able to fine tune and market to those different genres. Another thing that I really liked, we all have our cell phones. So we began using a simple text program, which is just a program where you put in everyone's phone number. You can use any spreadsheet, bring in their phone numbers, their interests, and we could text them. So I would have them set up ahead of time and say, hey, look, I'm looking for science teachers. And I could just send them a text and they could text back, and then we could move forward from there. Because emails, sometimes they get lost or they go to spam, but everyone can receive a text message. So that was definitely one way we use our data collection to find out and to organize our teachers, because principals would call, they would email all weekend and be like, hey, you know, one of my teachers is out, we need someone else. And that was a quick way. The simple texting program definitely helped us like hone in on exactly what we wanted. Next, okay, so we talked about the social media marketing and targeted ads, but something we would tell people, so if people are moving to Polk, coming down from Massachusetts, go to the school's Facebook page. Look and see what they have going on. So if I was thinking about coming to this school, I would go and see like, wow, they have robotics, they have the aquaponics, they have all these different things. You can also see the school culture. You can see the smiles on the teachers' faces, even if they're just putting it on for a second. It still looks engaging and like we want to come here. So making sure that we are using our online tools the right way. And also the engaging content, because we can't just post once a month. We try to do and set up weekly ads or weekly posts just to keep things engaging and to keep people going back and forth with us. Okay, and definitely the virtual job fairs, what I loved about that is that we could all do it from the comfort of our homes. Anyone who wanted to get a job with Polk County Public Schools, no matter where you were, you could be out at the beach. That was one of the ads we had. It was a picture of like a beach chair in the sand, the water around you, but looking for a teaching job. Like, we tried to be strategic because wherever you are, we can use those technology tools to still interview you. Because although sometimes you have the camera on, you could do audio only if if you're really out there on the beach. But using those virtual job fairs, it also gave the principals flexibility, because traditionally before COVID, we would all go to this one place called the Jim Miles Center. We'd have all the principals there. All of the candidates would come in. But with the virtual ones, those principals could still be at their school. They could still be like just preparing for those interviews. They don't have to rush across town, because we have 150 facilities, so different schools that we work with, and that's a lot to kind of get into one place. So it gave us the freedom, and I feel like the candidates like the virtual job fairs because they can hop around. They can go to this school and to that school without driving across the county, because ours is pretty wide. Another thing that we like to utilize were webinars. So I started something called Destination Education. And it's for people who are out of field who want to become teachers. Because that's what I was. I went to school for business. But when I graduated, I was like, wow, teaching sounds fun. My best friend was about to become a kindergarten teacher, and it was very spontaneous. I was like, I'm going to do it too. So I was out of field. I got my certification afterwards. But I'm trying to reach out to other people in the same boat who are like, wow, I'm a banker right now, but I might want to teach. And the surprising thing is that people were calling almost every day like, hey, I want to switch careers. How do I do that? So Destination Education helped bridge the gap. It was an actual live webinar through Brazen, which is another online tool that we use. And Brazen gave us a platform where they could see our video. There was a chat component. We also had someone from our certification department there, and we just answered any and all questions they had about becoming teachers. And we wanted to just make sure they know that there's an easier pathway to get into education. And that's the part about recruiting. And Summer's going to talk more about engaging the teachers once we've recruited them.
Yes. So once we get all the wonderful teachers, how do we keep them? That is a huge question. I'm sure you're probably seeing it at your schools as well. Retention is the new recruiting. So you got to make sure you're providing that piece. I use technology in a lot of ways to retain our teachers, but the two main ways are community building and support systems. So the first thing I do is when teachers are hired, they get an email from me immediately welcoming them to Polk County Public Schools and inviting them to a new teacher Facebook group. It's a private group just for that cohort of teachers that year. And it kind of is that in between from when you've got the job to when you get your keys and you're in the classroom. Because that summer break, that in between, that can be hard for teachers. They have a lot of questions they want to ask. They feel like they want someone to talk to, and they don't know who to go to. So that is what this Facebook group does for them. It is really self-running. Once I get the teachers in there, I do have to add them every single week. I also add teacher leaders from our district. And they go in, they ask questions, they form bonds themselves, they end up going out to dinner. It's really fun to be able to see the community that they build just from that simple Facebook group. Another thing that we do is we have a Facebook page that is just for teachers. It's a public page, so anyone can view it, but a lot of the school pages and the district pages, they focus on information that that parents need or that students need. They don't always focus on stuff for the teachers. So we use things like Motivation Monday just to kind of keep things engaging with the teachers. And it will be just a reminder, hey, have you practiced self-care today? We do Winter Wednesdays where they can win little gift certificates. We do class shout outs. So if you're doing something really engaging, send us a picture and we're going to put it on that page. It really helps with the community. It really helps with highlighting teachers who are doing like just awesome things in the classroom. And it's just a wonderful resource for our teachers to feel like they have a space to interact with each other there. So it's great. It's very easy to do. I do use AI to help me a lot. I think when we're using social media, we're all worried about beating the algorithm. And in order to do that, you have to be consistent. So I make sure that I use AI to help me plan out like weeks in ahead all of these posts that I'm going to do, but I always put in my human touch with it. I always make sure that I read something and I say, hey, let's change it to this to make it fit more with maybe something that we're teaching in the schools that week, or if there is a large event going on. We want to talk about the Strawberry Festival next week, so we're changing stuff to make sure and we include that. So you're always making a human element there. Another way that I use technology for retention is using stay chats and new teacher chats. So I want to make sure I know why teachers are staying. So when I first started in this role, we noticed that a lot of our teachers were leaving after 7 years. And we would actually do chats with teachers who made it through 7 years and said, hey, what's making you stay? What is it? Polk County Public Schools? Is it this specific school? What is it that is making you stay? A lot of teachers would come and do those, and it turned into event session, honestly, because they had me there, they were looking at me, and they just kind of let loose with all the problems. And so I wasn't actually getting the feedback that I needed to help with the retention. So I figured if I shifted to a online platform where it'd be more like a survey, I could get better data for what I needed. And so that's how I've been using that for stay chats. The same thing with new teacher chats. It's much easier. I get a lot more feedback if we go into a survey model rather than a face-to-face thing. I'm always there for face-to-face. That's my job. I love meeting with the teachers, but when I need that data piece, the surveys help a lot. So yeah. So thank you so much. This is us. Again, I appreciate your time today. I have so many questions for y'all. And I would love, to continue the chat. Yes.
So the time that you met in person and there was a lot of complaints coming your way, was that actually a little bit cathartic for them too?
I think they did. Yeah, I think it was needed, definitely. And again, that's why it's always an option. The first question on our stay chat or a new teacher chat is, hey, would you rather meet in person? Would you rather have a Zoom call, or would you rather me come to your school? Because we always want to offer that because it is necessary. But when it comes down to the data, for example, with a new teacher chat, we're really looking at our onboarding process. And is there any pieces in that process that is making you have a negative from the get-go interaction with our district?
Yeah.
Because if it's taking too long to get answers returned or something like that, we need to know that so we can improve on it. So yes, it was very cathartic for the teachers and it was good, but the survey allows me to kind of get the data I need as well.
Yeah. Maybe we should all have, every school have like a session every 3 months.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Even if they don't get an answer.
That would be.
Okay, so other questions?
Anything else?
Questions, comments?
And something I wanted to add, because I did teacher recruiting, but I also was Summer's partner and we did teacher engagement together. It was all about that social emotional support for teachers. And some of them, they wanted to communicate online through the computer or maybe through a phone call, but sometimes we'd spend the afternoons out in those classrooms. So it's just, we can use technology, but also just bringing the personal touch to it as well was important.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Brittanie, you mentioned your recruitment, you virtual through different places. And you mentioned Jamaica. Why don't we have you go there in person?
So we did.
They did. Some of the recruiters, we didn't go to Jamaica, but some of the recruiters went to Puerto Rico because it's easier for them to come. Their teacher certification mirrors ours very well. So we were able to get them in and get them certified, the ones from Puerto Rico. But with our international teaching program, we get them from Jamaica, we get them from India, the Philippines. So there's certain, we work with a company called EPI and TPG, and they can just help us. They find the candidates, and then we are able to pick through and see which ones we'd like to interview. But we do that using virtual platforms, with mainly Brazen, because Brazen is just, it's been game changer for us.
How was that, guys?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.